that is about liver as well as the pancreas. As I told, pancreas is a heterocrine gland. Okay, so next we'll see the liver. So what is liver? Liver is considered to be the one of the largest exocrine gland. It is the largest exocrine gland. It is mainly secreting bile juice. What is the function of bile juice? Bile juice is mainly having a function in the digestion of fat. It is mainly involved in the digestion of fat. As I told, it is a 5-lobed and it has 4 complete lobes and 1 incomplete lobe. As I told, there is a hepatic duct and the liver is divided into left lobe as well as the right lobe. So just behind the 3rd lobe there is a presence of gallbladder. Gallbladder is mainly made for the concentration as well as the storage of the bile juice. So hepatic duct which will transfer the bile juice into the gallbladder, where the duct of the gallbladder is the cystic duct and they are joined to form a common bile duct. Then they are again joined with the pancreatic duct. So that is regarding to the liver. Okay, so next is about the pancreas. As I told, it is a yellow colored dual gland found within the loop of duodenum. So the C-shaped structure is a duodenum. In between that there is a presence of pancreas. The exocrine part of the pancreas is known as acini, which is mainly secreting enzymes. Endocrine part of the pancreas is known as islets of Langerhans, which is mainly secreting glucagon, insulin, somatostatin. So these are nothing but the, what are these? These are the hormones. Okay. So here, these glucagon, insulin and somatostatin, which is mainly involved in the carbohydrate metabolism, that mainly regulates the carbohydrate metabolism. As you know that insulin which will regulate the blood sugar level, glucagon which will increase the blood sugar level, somatostatin which is mainly regulating the growth hormone. So these are regarding to the pancreas. So in the pancreas, where the pancreatic juice consisting of enzymes such as pancreatic lipase, pancreatic amylase, okay. So pancreatic proteases mainly includes trypsin, chymotrypsin, carboxypeptidase. All these are the enzymes. So these are mainly involved in the digestion of carbohydrates, proteins as well as the lipids. Okay. So what are the things which are happening in our stomach? How the digestion takes place in our stomach? Stomach is mainly consisting of HCl. One of the very important component of the stomach is nothing but HCl. As well as there is a presence of 2 important proteins. One is a pepsin and one more is a renin. Pepsin and renin. So these 2 enzymes which are secreted in the inactive form, both are secreted in the inactive form where it is activated by the HCl. Pepsin and renin are activated by the HCl. So pepsin which will convert proteins into proteases, peptones as well as polypeptides. That is a simpler form of proteins. Renin is mainly a milk digesting enzyme. This is one of the very important milk digesting enzyme. Milk is mainly consisting of protein as well as the carbohydrate. Milk carbohydrate is a lactose. Milk protein is a casein. Casein is a milk protein. Lactose is a milk carbohydrate. So digestion of milk mainly renin helps. And next is about chyme. What is chyme? See, in the mouth, the food which mixes with the saliva, the process of mastication as well as the mixture of saliva forms a ball-like structure known as a bolus. And when it goes to the stomach, the churning action of the stomach leading to formation of a semi-digested food and mixes with the acidic components of the stomach and forms the chyme. Where it forms the acidic components of the stomach and it forms the chyme. And then the role of pyloric sphincters. There are 2 sphincters in the stomach. Cardiac sphincters, it's the first one. Pyloric sphincter is the last one. So the movement of digested food from the stomach to intestine, which is mainly guarded by a sphincter called pyloric sphincter. Okay. So next, in the digestion in the small intestines. Digestion in the small intestine. See, all the secretions of bile as well as the pancreas, whatever the secretion is there, their digestion is taking place in the intestine. Digestion takes place in the intestine. So that's why the role of trypsin, chymotrypsin, carboxypeptidase, aminopeptidase, all these are meant for the digestion of proteins. Okay, where protein finally converted into a amino acid. Carbohydrates are finally converted into a glucose. Lipids are finally converted into fatty acids as well as a glycerol. So those functions where these are mainly involved. The pancreatic juice enzymes as well as intestinal juice enzymes. Okay, both are involved in the digestion of proteins. So next, digestion of carbohydrates. In the digestion of carbohydrates, role of amylopsin. Okay, role of amylopsin, role of maltase, role of sucrase and the role of lactase. Okay, amylopsin, which is a pancreatic juice. Salivary amylase is in the mouth consisting of salivary amylase. What happens? Where carbohydrate is converted into disaccharide, polysaccharide is converted into disaccharide. Again in the pancreas it is simplified. Where maltase. So there is a disaccharide known as a maltose. In the presence of enzyme maltase, which is converted into glucose plus glucose. And there is a sucrase. That is the enzyme which acts on sucrose, or it converts into glucose plus fructose. Lactase acting on a milk carbohydrate, that is lactose, converts into glucose plus galactose. So that is a digestion of carbohydrates. Okay. So next, digestion of lipid. So first foremost action is nothing but a emulsification. Okay, first foremost action is the emulsification, where fat has to be broken down into smaller globules. Okay, larger fat which will be broken down into smaller parts, that is a process known as a emulsification. Then there is a pancreatic lipase which will act on it. And then we have an intestinal lipase, so it will finally convert it into simpler form. So, chyle, what is chyle? Chyle is in the stomach, chyle is in the intestine. Chyle is an alkaline substance. Chyle is an alkaline substance where these digested food which mixes with the alkaline substance and forms the chyle. Then, what is the role of villi? So, role of villi mainly involves, it is the structure, you can see the structure of villi. So, in the structure of villi, it is mainly consisting of microvilli as well as there is a presence of ciliated epithelium for the absorption. Function of villi is to absorb the digested food. So, it is mainly consisting of the middle part, this is the lacteal. The middle part is known to be the lacteal. Sides we have blood vessels. So, these two sides, veins and arteries, which are the blood vessels. So, the end product of carbohydrate digestion, end product of protein digestion, which will be absorbed by these blood vessels. Whereas for the end product of this particular lipid, okay, that has to be absorbed by the lacteals. Lacteals are mainly made up of the lymph. Okay, so these, what happens, whatever the end product of lipid digestion is there, those are again broken down into small droplets known as a micelles. Okay, they combine with the chyle and forms the chylomicrons, where these chylomicrons are absorbed by the lacteal. Why not blood vessels are absorbing these? Because the droplets of fat is larger than these blood vessels. That's why they will not absorb it. Okay. So next, regarding to the villus, so we have a role of villi, role of colon. So what happens, whatever the digested food from the small intestine which will move towards the large intestine. So in the large intestine what happens, there is a absorption of water from these waste takes place, leading to a formation of a stool. It is a digestive waste that will be eliminated. Okay, so that stool will move towards the rectum. Rectum is a sigmoid structure which will move towards the rectum, so that there is a nervous system controlled mechanism. It is a nervous system controlled mechanism for the removal of this digestive waste to the anus, which is known to be the defecation. Defecation is a process by which digestive waste will be removed. Okay, so that is mainly takes place in the rectum. Next, in the cecum region, large intestine mainly consisting of three parts. That is, there is the cecum, colon as well as the rectum. Okay, so in the cecum region there is a small extended part known as the appendix, which is known to be the vermiform appendix. That is a vestigial organ. What do you mean by a vestigial organ? There is a presence of organ that is not having a function. Even in the cecum region there is a presence of small structure, small sac-like structure, which is mainly consisting of symbiotic microbes, which helps in the cleansing of the intestine. Okay, so symbiotic means we are helping them as well as they are helping us. So that is regarding to the appendix. So next, absorption. So in the absorption may take place in the active process or in the passive process. Sometimes actively with the help of energy there is absorption, sometimes passively without the energy. Okay, so in the various parts, see, some of the medicines which will also absorb in our mouth itself, and alcohol, water that can be absorbed in the stomach, and most of the other food substances, end product of carbohydrate, protein and lipid that will be absorbed in the villi. As I told, water from the digestive waste absorbed in the colon. So there is a different mode of absorption, where very important is the fat absorption, that is mainly taking place in the lacteals. That is mainly taking place in the lacteals. So that is regarding to the process of absorption. Next we will move on to the disorders of digestive system. In that, first foremost is the jaundice. So jaundice, it is mainly due to the bile pigment. Bile salts consists of, bile juice consists of bile salt as well as a bile pigment. So these bile pigment, yellow and green pigments are there. So bilirubin as well as biliverdin, where bilirubin which will accumulate leading to the jaundice, where there is the skin as well as eyes and fingernail turns slightly yellowish. Okay, mainly liver is affected. Then what is vomiting? Vomiting is the ejection of stomach contents through mouth. Okay, it is also nervous system controlled mechanism. In our brain we have a vomiting center. Okay, we have a vomiting center. If the food is not digested properly or such cases, what happens? There is a feeling of vomiting. Feeling of vomiting is known as nausea. Sometimes we will have the feeling of vomiting but we will not vomit. Okay, so that is known to be the nausea, where the feeling of nausea precedes vomiting. After the feeling of vomiting, we will vomit. Okay. So next is about the diarrhea. So here abnormal frequency of bowel movement. Bowel refers to the rectum here. Okay, abnormal frequency of bowel movement leading to the liquidity of stool. Stool becomes more liquid, where absorption of food reduces. As the food digested, that will be eliminated. Absorption of food is reduced, where the fecal matter becomes more liquid. And then is about the constipation. Constipation, the feces are retained within the rectum. Okay, bowel movement irregular, where the bowel movement is frequent in the diarrhea, bowel movement is irregular in the case of constipation. Okay, if there is a constipation, that continued constipation may lead to the piles. Then is about the indigestion. In this condition, food is not properly digested. Food is not digested properly, that is leading to the feeling of fullness. Our stomach feels very full. Okay, if there is an indigestion mainly due to sometimes eating more spicy food, there is a varied enzyme secretion, anxiety, stress, all these may lead to the indigestion. Okay, so these are the disorders regarding to the digestive system. So this is about complete digestion and absorption. So this is just an introduction. You might have studied some of the concepts in your previous classes.